Om Shri Sai Ram. My most humble pranams at the lotus feet of my most beloved Lord. Swami, but for you today, I will not be standing here to share the love that you have showered into our lives. Respected elders, my dear sisters, brothers, and my dear Balvikas children, I see some of you here. Sai Ram to all of you. I'm very fortunate to be blessed into a family that has been associated with Bhagwan for the last 3 generations. It starts with my grandfather, both my maternal and paternal, my father and mother. Now us and my daughter is into this fold. And I'm very grateful for my parents, my father and mother, and I'm not here without them today. My father has dedicated his life for the work of Swami, and he still continues to do that. And he's a great example for us in our family. And my mother, who is ever present in our heart. And my mother is a very simple lady who's not highly educated. If I was to say, she's just studied up to 9th grade. And she got married very early. And she was a housewife who knew just to serve at home. She was not an office bearer of any sort in the organization. She would attend bhajans when she can. She was not into service activities. But all the time, remember Swami. And if I jog my memory, all she would do is read Sahasranamam, Swami's 1008 names. Anything good, something that cannot be solved, all she knows is take that book and read. She would sincerely do that. And immense faith in Swami. There is no looking back. Once he says anything to her, or once she determines, she puts her mind into it, for her, there is no second thought. So one such, I would start my talk with faith in Swami. Faith where there is no doubt. I would start in the my grandfather actually passed away in the 1980s. I don't remember the exact year. So he passed away, and after he passed away, so in our family, anything we would be in Puttaparthi. So my grandfather passed away, and in the morning, and in the evening they are in Puttaparthi. Next day morning, Swami calls the entire family for an interview. If I say entire family, it's 5 brothers, their wives, and children who were older than 10, 11, which I didn't qualify, so I was not there in that interview. I was left back in Bangalore. Everybody was called into interview, and Swami, when he calls for interview, he takes the role of what he has to. He will be a teacher, mother, father, friend. He is who we think we want him to be. At that time, he spoke to everybody in the interview room, and when he speaks, he knew that everybody in that room were grieving. So Swami looked at each one. He spoke to my grandmother. He looked at my mother. And as soon as he looked at my mother always spoke very freely to Swami. There was no barrier. She never, she would speak as casually she would speak to any of us. So she told Swami, today my father-in-law is not there, but I am very sad. Then Swami asked, why are you sad? Then she said, Swami, he said he will come to our new home. And he did not come. He passed away too soon, which was true. My grandfather suddenly passed away one morning. So Swami said, very compassionate. So his voice became very soft. This is how my mother narrated it. She said, I will say it in Tamil, and I will also say it in English. He said, Nagaraj varlena ye, na vare. Na vare, na vandu ellarodiyum irukke maadiki vare. And ellarodiyum saapadren. He said, I will come. So what if Nagaraj did not come? I will come be with all of you. And I will come upstairs. At that time, there was no upstairs in our home. We lived in a very small home in Chennai. And this is how Swami speaks very briefly. There is no much lengthy conversation. It's always a doubt. He leaves us to fill in the blank. That is what happened. And then he moved on. He spoke to everybody. Years passed. So I'm talking somewhere in the 1980s. Years passed. And so the minute Swami said that, I will come. For my mother, it was literal. He has to come. He has to come home. Not in any form. He has to come in that orange robe. He has to be there. That is her faith. Because it has come out of his mouth. She believes it is Sathya. That is what his name signifies. So every time Swami would come to Chennai, we lived in Chennai, every time he would come, she would prepare the home to whatever we had. She would prepare and she would think the entire trip, if Swami stayed for 15 days, he stayed for 1 week, she would say, okay, maybe Swami will come. Maybe Swami will come. And she will tell my dad, why don't you go and ask? Why don't you go and ask Swami? So my father was an office bearer in the organization, and she would say, why don't you go ask Swami? My father was very principled. If he is if he has access to Swami, and if it is through him being an office bearer, he would never ask any personal questions. That was a rule in our home. Even if we were sick, even if something very urgent was happening, he would never take the privilege of going in the front and giving a letter or asking Swami. Even if Swami would come and stand, he would stay quiet. That was the major argument between my father and mother is, why didn't you ask Swami if he was standing right in front of you? But that was a principle. He will say, it is between you and Swami. The only word that I remember my father used to tell my mother is, it is between you and Swami. You ask. He told you. So you ask. Very brief. He doesn't talk much. Very quiet. So it continued over many years. And it was 2007. So I'm fast forwarding. Many things happened in between. But 2007, Swami visited Chennai, and Atirudra Mahayagnyam was planned to happen in Chennai. And I was in United States at that time. I was married. I was living in California. And my husband said, why don't you go? It is happening in Chennai. It is such a big event. Your father is organizing it. You have to be there. And he said, go. So I happened to be there in the year 2007. My sister was unable to come. My brother stays with my mom and dad, so he was in Chennai. So we were there. Again, my mom would say, Swami is in Chennai. And we got a list of homes that Swami was going to visit. My mother, if she holds on to something, it goes on. She prays, but she has the faith in his words, I will come. So she would never give up. In the year 2007, Swami was already in wheelchair. So it was extremely hard even to access him, to ask him something. Swami, would you come out for darshan? Became very hard. Nobody could go and ask, Swami, will you come? So my mother would tell my father. At that time, my dad's proximity with Swami became even closer. He could go, stand outside the room, talk to Swami. My father would say the same statement. It is between you and him. He told you. You ask. Different ways we can ask Swami. Letter, speak to him, pray, Different ways. That's what I tell my Bal Vikas children. You talk to him, you choose your method. So my mother had her own way. We never asked her how. So she said, but I know Swami will come. My father said, yes, it is between you and him. He will. So then the list of homes came. At that time they said he has minimized that list to very little. He's visiting only 3 homes. That's what one of the senior member of the organization said. Swami, this time the list is out as he's visiting 3 homes. So it comes to my father. My father will not come and discuss those things at home. So we did not know it was 3 homes. We got to know this all later. So 3 homes name came and they were in order. One was a very senior devotee. The other 2 homes were the homes where people contributed for this big project to happen. The Atirudra Mahayagnyam was a very big project, and those homes' names came, and very rich people, and every access to Swami was easy. In a wheelchair, they had elevators at home. We had nothing. It was a small home still. And by then our home, we had built the top portion of the home, which was my brother's music studio. And one evening, it was January 27th, in the night, we were all sitting and eating together. And my father got a phone call, and they communicated was, one of the senior members from the organization communicated. He said, I just came out of Swami's room. Swami told me tomorrow he's coming to your house. We had just sat to eat. My mother was there. We didn't know what to do at that time. It was 2007, on 27th. Her dream came true. That was the faith. She never gave up. It was one of the most difficult, very odd scenario that Swami would come. He was very tired also after the Atirudra Mahayagnyam. Surya, you can show the slide. So we are waiting. I got 2 or 3 pictures. We are waiting there. That is my mother, my father, my brother, and myself. Swami's car already came. Until we saw the car, we did not believe he's coming. Human, right? Human mind. You think, what if tomorrow he's not able to come? What if after 3 days, 3 homes, after he finished 1 home, he had to do 2 homes, and then that's what he said, that he will come to our home. And I told you, very important, he speaks very less. I will go to Ramani's home. Ramani is my father's name. I am going. When? What time? When? How are we supposed to be prepared? Nothing was known. We are waiting. You can go to the next slide. So Swami comes. He entered our garage. We hardly had any space to host him. Usually the home has to be very prepared for Swami to come, because people go to survey the home. We need to have a huge, Swami's car should be able to come inside. You cannot get Swami off. So there are a lot of conditions for a Swami to come home by the organization. So it is when it is by the organization, when he decides, to the oddest of scenarios, he comes. So we did not have any portico, anything for Swami to come in. Barely we had a car shed which was open, and he had to enter. The car just was able to get in. When Swami wills, he makes it happen. When he thinks, I have to do it, he does it. That's where we know he is divine. Because by human it is not possible. We were not able to build any gate overnight. What time did we know? Previous night, 9 o'clock. And in the morning, 11, he's there. And Swami says, always be prepared. This is what I felt when I was there, because we were absolutely not prepared, but he decided to come. So that is, so he's talking to my mother, and he looks at my mother and he tells her, now vandute, Because when Swami promises and when he fulfills it, he traces back to the same word that he said. So I'm talking 20 years later is when he is there. He first looks at my mother looks at him, and she says, Swami, you are here. And he says, Navandute. And so we are there. We sang a song, Ao Gopala Giridari, because usually there are Purna Kumbhams and other things. There's a lot of preparation that you need to do when he's coming. We didn't do anything. All we did was we sang a bhajan. And we finished singing, and Swami is looking at her. You can go to the next slide. Then he comes upstairs, right? So he keeps up his word. That's where we know that he is divine. Everything is a check. Check, check, check. Yes, he came. He said, I'll come upstairs. He came upstairs. He did not go below. He did not go to our home because we thought that Swami is coming. He would come where we are living. He did not. He had promised he will come upstairs. He went upstairs. I'm not going into the detail of the story because I am going to speak more of his omnipresence in my next few experiences that I'm sharing. But I wanted to say this because this was something that is very close to our heart, our family, where my mother never gave up that faith in him. There was no doubt, and it happened. And a very simple lady who never knew even to get angry. I don't remember my mother being angry with us, always smiling. She would serve everybody who came home. That is what we remember of her, and always thinking of him. Everything that she does, she offers it to him. That is what we have seen. And there she is. She loved to cook. So she cooked all that. She felt she's good at cooking. She offered that to Swami because, again, there is a menu for Swami that is there that we need to keep ready when he's coming. Usually people know it well ahead in time. So they have everything prepared. We had only few hours. So my mother, again, what her heart said. I teach my Balvikas children that Swami is in your heart. I think she spoke to him in her heart. And she just prepared what she could. And she's serving. And he ate only all that she prepared with her hand. He did not touch. We had dry fruits and other things. But anything that she made, he took very little. Usually Swami, I have not seen Swami eating a lot. Usually what I remember is when we were studying in college, Swami would start Brahma. When we start Brahmarpanam, when we say Om Shanti, Swami is done eating. That is what I vividly remember. I'm sure many of you here may have more experiences, but what I have seen, which is close to my heart, is I always think when I chant Brahmarpanam, Swami, you're starting to eat. When I say Om Shanti Shanti, Swami is finishing. Then I remember, Swami, you are everything. We offer this food to you. So that is how it was. Him sitting there, we did not chant Brahmarpanam. We were as casual as he made us that. He makes it happen. He calms you down. It was as if I was meeting my family member. Sometimes he has to will to what we have to speak, because even that doesn't come out. Even the words don't come out when we see him. So she serves, and he was there with us at least for an hour and a half. And then he took Aarti, and then he left. So that is a brief of the visit and my mother's faith. And purely because of that, it happened. He came for her. My father has been in the organization. His life is for him, for Swami. But he came for my mother, and we truly believe in that. He blessed us, and then he went despite the physical disability that he had at that time. He came. So for Swami, when we think, will Swami come? Is it hard for him? Is it very difficult? All those questions were answered, because that's what my father used to tell. It is physically very hard for Swami. Everything was a no. When he decides, when he knows I have to go see my devotee, he makes it happen. That was one of my mother's experience that I thought I should share, and it is very close, is her faith in him. And then I would move on to My own experience, I finished studying still I'm talking about, faith in him with no doubt. So I finished my bachelor's in Anantapur, in Swami's Institute, and I didn't want to come back. And the only master's program that they offered in our campus was master's in literature, English literature, or it is MSc in nutrition and dietetics. And my mother wanted me to study MBA. And that was her dream. So I told my mother I'm not coming back. I finished my bachelor's. She made a trip and I wrote a letter to her. Those days we had to just write a letter. There were no phone calls allowed from my campus in Anantapur. We were not allowed to talk to our parents. And I used to see my parents once every 3 months. So I wrote a letter to my mother saying I'm not coming back. I'm filling in an application to do Masters in Literature. It was an open program. You had the grade, you had the GPA, then you could enroll, which I would qualify to do my Masters in Literature. So I told my mother I'm not coming back. She was very disappointed. She made a trip and we were going to go to Puttaparthi. She made a trip to Puttaparthi and she said, I made this trip to come and tell you, you're going to finish your bachelor's and come back home. I want you to be with me. Then I told my mother, when Swami is there, why am I supposed to come home? I want to be here with him. And she said, I want you to do masters. That is my dream, but I want you to do MBA. I want you to take up a job, come back to Chennai. I was torn. I didn't know what to do, whether to listen to my mother or be with Swami. Both were very tempting. I wanted to be in Puttaparthi, means study in Anantapur because we got to see him frequently, or go back. Because for Swami, it is very important that I have to listen to my mother too. It is very important for him. So I said, okay, I will come back. But I'm not going to apply everywhere in Chennai. I'm going to apply only where I feel I want to. So by the time I made my decision, only one college was offering Masters in Business Administration. I applied to that college. That was the only college. If they said no, I was going back to do my Masters in Anantapur. So I applied. They called me. And I was praying that they don't call me, but they called me. And they said, said entrance exam, and then we had a panel discussion, and then they would announce who got the admission. So I finished my entrance exam, and actually in our final year, Swami gave us all a pen. So usually he gives something when you're passing out. He gave a few, but he gave a pen, and he said, he gave it to all of us with his own hand, and said, whatever you sign with this pen, or when you write, I will be with you. I don't know why he said that. Then I was debating if I should use that pen and write my entrance exam, or I don't use my pen and write the entrance exam, because I didn't want, or I was not very unsure, but I still used that pen. So I finished my entrance exam, and I was called for panel discussion. And panel discussion, a lot of people had applied, so they were there, they finished their entrance exam, they were there. People were all talking and said, everybody who used to go in and come used to say it was very difficult. And I thought, great, it's very difficult, so that's fine. And I go in, they call me. So we have to submit our mark sheets. So my mark sheets are there with with the panelists. And the head of the department of MBA was there. So she looks at my mark sheet, and she looks at the logo of Swami's Institute, and she said, oh, Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. I did not say anything. I looked at her. Oh, Sai Baba. Then I thought, is she giving me admission? I was not sure of what she meant. This is all I heard. And then she said, oh, Sai Baba, do you believe that he is God? Is my question in my panel discussion in University of Madras. I'm there and I'm fresh out of Swami's college. And I've never had anybody ask me these questions. I had not started teaching Bal Vikas. My Bal Vikas kids asked this question to me in class. Is he God? But I was asked that question when I finished my bachelor's. Is he God? I looked at her and I said, yes, he is God. Then I thought I'm not getting this admission anyway, because I did hear before that the person who was interviewing me, the lady who asked me this question, was a person who did not believe in the existence of God. There is a supreme entity who is there. So I thought, okay, I'm not getting this admission. Then she goes on. I think he's a magician. Next, she says that. What do you think? Then I repeated, I said, he is God. I said, he is God. He's the one who created this universe. And I truly believe in him. And for me, he is. Then she said, okay, thank you. And she sent me out. I was the quickest who came out of that room. I was not asked any subject questions, but others spent about 15-20 minutes. I came out, I told my sister was there, my mother was there. I told them I'm not getting this admission. My mother was very disappointed because this was the only college that I had applied, and she thought she's going back or I'm sitting at home for the rest of the year. Then they asked me, what did they ask you? And this is what I told them. I said, this is what they asked. And I said, Swami is God, and I have faith in him. And I cannot say anything different. I could not be diplomatic to this answer. I said, he is God. To me, he is everything. And I came. So they did not know what to say. We went back home. And after a week, they said that they would announce the results. My father said, let's go and check. I said, I'm not coming. My father said, let's go and check because we have to decide what to do with you. Then we went. And I see, when I go there, I see my name was first in the merit list. And I did not know. First of all, I thought my name will not be there. Then I thought if my name is there, it's going to be last. And I see my name first. And there were 6 people whose name was put in the merit list. And my name was first. And at that time, I felt I did not want to go back to the car. I thought, Swami, what was I thinking? What was I thinking about you? One was my mother's faith in him. The other was my faith in Swami, where I told her he's God, but my own doubts. Am I getting this admission? Am I not getting this admission? But he made that happen. But for him, today I'm not, I am not a person with an MBA. It is because of him. And that's when I thought, because for me, studying in his institute, Swami was very accessible. And because of my family, he was very accessible in Puttaparthi. For anything, I was able to give a letter. I was able to talk to him. This was my very first experience where physically Swami was not present. But I had to have that faith and not worry about whether I'm getting admission, whether I'm not getting admission. But my faith of him, because when we do that, he takes care of the rest. He takes care of the rest. And usually Swami, his way is, he never gives you any other option. He pushes you to the last. You want to leave your hope. You are hanging. He lets you, but he's the one who catches you. But we have to sustain until that point. And that is who he is. And I would move on to how omnipresent he is. One is faith, one is his omnipresence. We all think, is Swami there? Is Swami watching? Is he there? I truly believe he's there. He's sitting. And to that, I want to narrate an experience of my mother. At that time, in the year 2007, Swami visited our home. In January 28th, he was at home. December 30th, my mother fell sick. She became ill. She was diagnosed with brain tumor. And she lived 14 months after. So that 14-month period, we had a lot of lessons that we learned. Physically, Swami was there, but many lessons he taught. He was in Puttaparthi. We were in Chennai. Physically, my mother could not travel to Chennai. Swami was not physically mobile to travel anywhere, but Swami was present in our home. So one such experience. So I went to be with my mother. She fell ill December of 2008, 2009, January, 2009, March, I'm there. I go from here. I'm at home. At that time, her surgery was done. Her brain surgery was done. She was at home. Swami told her, keep her home. I will be with her. Again, when he says that, he is there. He told her, I will be with you, in you, around you, above you, below you. That is what he told her. I'm sure at that point my mother was paralyzed. She was not very conscious. I'm sure within herself she believed in the words that he told her because he went and told that to her in her ears. I'm sure that was seated in her. And I was with her. And we used to give her a shower. Her morning routine was there. She was not mobile, but we had to physically lift her, give her a shower, and then put her back into her bed. But that day she told me, you have come all the way from United States to visit me. I want to make something for you. She loved to cook. So she said, I want to make something for you. So take me to the kitchen. So we used to transport her around the home in a wheelchair. And that morning, my father said, I'm going to work. Usually one of us will be next to her, either my brother, me, or my sister. We used to take turns. If I was there from here, if I was visiting India, I would be with her. We had a nurse. But one family member had to be with her, even though we had a nurse round the clock. So that day my dad told me, you be with her. I'm going to go to office, but I will be back in 3 hours. Be with her. I told him, okay, I will be. By then I was very comfortable transporting her in a wheelchair. I knew, and the nurse would help me. So she said, take me to the kitchen. I will use my left hand. Right hand, she was paralyzed. She said, I will use my left hand and I will put all the ingredients, because I always tell her, it's not how you put the ingredients, don't give me the recipe, you cook. So she said, I will put the ingredients. If I'm tired, I will let you know. So I told, Amma, are we doing the right thing? He said, no. She said, no, take me. She was very conscious. She said, take me. So I took her, and she was near the gas. She put all the ingredients, and she told me how to make it. And then halfway through, she told me, I'm very tired. Take me back. Turn on the fan. Make me sit. I said, okay, I will do it, because the instruction was, if she is tired, she has to be attended to immediately. So I went, made her sit under the chair. I turned on the fan. My father calls. He was halfway going to work. I picked the phone and he said, where is Amma? I said, she's sitting here under the fan. Where was she before? This is how my father is asking me questions. I said, she was. Then he said, was she in the kitchen? I said, how do you know that she was in the kitchen? Then he said, a senior devotee from Swami's room called my father and said, Swami told she cannot go to the kitchen until I instruct. She cannot cook. Take her back to her room. How does she know? How does Swami know? I'm in Chennai. I asked my mother to go to the kitchen. Swami is sitting in Puttaparthi. If you go by car, it takes you good 9 hours, 10 hours to reach. I'm sitting here, and my father called. That was my first experience of his omnipresence. Physically not seeing Swami. Our family was very used to physical experiences of him. This is of his omnipresence, where physically he was not there, but knew exactly to detail what was happening. I fell at my mother's feet and I said, "He is with you, Amma." We made her go and lie down. And after that, I didn't know my father came back home. He said, "You are not moving her anywhere." Because Swami was taking care of her. We had to listen to every single instructions that came from him. Physically, it used to come, and it was our very first experience, and we did not know that we would receive instructions directly from Swami. One thing is, if Swami has to reach us, he does not require anything. And there is no concept of time, space. He will be there. He will be there. He will be with us. And he will ensure that we know that he is with us. So from that day, we were very careful with her. We were not sure how we could transport her to different places. Still, we would do it. And if no call came, we used to be very happy that we did the right thing. That was the only clue that we had, because instructions used to come, but we could never ask questions. This was a very, very difficult situation where emotionally we were seeing my mother in pain. It was not easy for her. She was in a lot of pain. And Swami would give just very brief instructions, and we had to implicitly obey. Otherwise, as a human, we would have done something else. But we had to implicitly obey. And one another experience of his omnipresence. Time is there. I can talk? Okay. Of his omnipresence that comes to my mind is my brother and I were sitting with my mother in her room. We used to try and talk to her, though she was not evidently she was not able to. We knew that she's unable to answer us because one part of her brain was scooped out. So she had lost vision on one side, her hands, her legs, no part was working. But we would think that we are talking to her and she's responding. And one such morning, we are talking to her, and suddenly we thought it was in the afternoon, and I had finished my lunch. My brother was with her because she got seizure, and we thought it was seizure, and that was the very first time she got seizure. It was not after surgery. We did not see her because we did know that if you have brain surgery, you can get seizure. But my mother, we saw it for the first time. So my brother did not move from the room. He was right next to her. It was afternoon. It was going to be late afternoon. My brother's phone rings. And then again, one senior devotee said, he told my brother, "Go and eat. You have not eaten. Swami has asked you to eat your food first." My brother was shocked because he was in his home clothes, wearing his PJs. And he said, "Don't worry. Swami asked me to tell, don't worry about your mother. It is not seizure, it is tremor." That was the word that was given to us. Then we were very shocked. My brother kept the phone and he said, "Looks like Swami is here." And he went and wore white and white first. Because because they used to call, and we didn't know if Swami was sitting next to them. And it was from his room. And two people used to call, one or the other, who would be with Swami. And he went and wore white and white. He sat, and I told him, "You first eat. Because you are asked to eat. You first eat. Don't worry, I will take care of Amma." Because we never used to eat in my mother's room. So he had to stay out and eat. But we were not sure what's going on with her. We were still emotionally struggling. Though Swami was there giving us instructions, we were emotionally struggling with her. So my brother said, "I will eat, but he is there. Don't talk anything." don't say anything. That is where we got to with several incidents at home. I just picked two to tell you because I was physically present there, so I thought I would share this experience. But he was there physically. We did not see him, but these experiences told us that once he says he will take care, he was there. He keeps up his word. Whatever he says, it happens. It will happen because it is the truth. So that was one. Then he ate. Then from that day, she used to get those episodes. We called it tremor to people because everybody said it's seizure. Then we told the doctors it's called tremor because in Chennai we could not speak evidently about Swami, but we would say, it is tremor. And that was another experience of his omnipresence. And then I thought I would share how important it is to serve your own mother. That was another opportunity that we got to serve her physically for 14 months. And he ensured that it is very important for us to be with her. And for him, the word mother, form mother is very important. And he used to tell us physically, he used to tell us through different incidents. We learned how important it is to be with our mother and listen to her. So one such was, my brother was married, and he got married. My mother fell sick in December, then January 2009, February 2008, February 8th, my brother got married. And he wanted to go to Puttaparthi. Again, as soon as anything special at home, we will be in Puttaparthi. My mother was paralyzed at that time on the bed. I told them I'm not coming. So my brother, my sister, newlywed wife, my father was at home. They all go. They said, we'll go see Swami. We will be there just for one darshan and we will come back. So they go to the airport and they are back home. My father and I was there. Somebody rings the bell. We go and see. 3 of them who went came back. And we asked, what happened? Did you miss the flight? Is the flight cancelled? Because they were going to go to Bangalore and then go to Puttaparthi. That's the easiest way to go from Chennai. They came back and we asked what happened is when my brother narrated this experience. Another experience of Swami exactly knows what is happening. So my brother goes to the airport. He's through security. He has put his bag through the security. He gets a call and he said, Swami is asking you to go back. He's asking if you are in security. My brother says, yes, I'm in security. He says, pick your bags from the other side, go home, be with your mother. It is very important for you to be with your mother. This is all as the instruction. He comes back. How can you imagine that Swami knows my brother has left home? He's coming to see him. He is at the airport. Security, where he shows he is omnipresent as he becomes very precise. Because otherwise you can think, somebody must have told Swami, right? There's no question of doubt at that time. When he decides, he wants to say or show us that he is omnipresent. He shows it to you. He gets to the very detail of exactly what is happening, even to the color of the clothes that you're wearing. Swami knows. Swami knows. I have experienced, I have seen it. Even now, he knows it. And that got etched into our hearts. Even now, my father says, he's always there with you. He will be there with all of you. Even when I go to the center, he'll tell me, he is with all of you. You have to do it for Swami. When you take Bal Vikas, he is there with you in class. I truly believe, and I tell my children that Swami is there. His picture is kept. He's there. You have to be disciplined. Because I believe in it. I believe in it. I believe that my children will believe in it as they grow. It will be with them. So that is for omnipresence. And one more, which is very close to my heart. You can put the next slide. So it was Shivaratri. I was with my mother. And once, any festival, everybody in our family is in Puttaparthi. Whether you're sick, you're not sick. whether you have exam, whether it is a very important appointment, everything will be cancelled, but we are in Puttaparthi to see Swami. One such occasion was Shivaratri, and I was visiting from here, and I am there with my mother. My brother was always stay put with my mother. It was the instruction by Swami. My brother could not, without asking Swami, freely go anywhere. He was instructed personally by him to be by my mother's side. So my brother's role was clear. He has to be there. My father could freely travel. Office, Puttaparthi, wherever he wanted, my father had the access. So he would happily go, because his goal was, if I'm not stopped from working for Swami, he's very happy. So my father was led to do that. So my father decided, I'll go to Puttaparthi for Shivaratri. Who's left is me. So he looks at me and says, come with me. And I told him, I'm not coming anywhere. Then he said, no, you have to come with me. You have come all the way from USA, and Swami is taking care of your mother. You have no gratitude. Will you not come to see him? This is how my father talks. He puts you into a sense of guilt. So you make that decision to go see Swami. At that time, I was very clear. I said, I'm not moving anywhere from beside my mother. By then, my mother was deteriorating. It was very hard to see her. And I didn't want to leave her and go to Puttaparthi because I will miss that. He said, we will go for morning darshan. So it was classic in our family is go for morning darshan, come back evening darshan. But we have to go. We have done those trips. So morning darshan, we will finish. I will bring you back by night. I said, I'm not coming, Appa. Because if he gets some work, he will not leave Puttaparthi. How do I come back? Very hard. So I missed my day with Swami, with my mother. So he said, you have studied in his institute. You don't want to go see him? You're going to go back to USA and then you don't get to come and see him? I said, I'm not coming. He was very angry. Then he came. Again he said, you're making a big mistake. He is the one who's taking care of your mother. You have no gratitude. You have to come and see him. Will you not come and see him? I said, I'm not coming. Yes, I'm not coming. My mother is very important to me. I will sit right beside her. I will not come. I was very clear. I have never spoken to my father like that out of respect, because if he says anything in that house, we would implicitly obey. But that was my very first time I was married. I ever spoke to my father like that, going against what he said. Then I thought, did I do the right thing? By then my mother did not know what was going on. My brother said, why did you say like that? You could have gone and come. I said, I'm not going. Don't talk to me about it. My dad left. He was very angry. It's fine. He will come back 2 days. He won't talk to me. I was still fine with it. I get to be with my mother. I was very clear. And he goes the previous night. Next day was Shivaratri. In the morning, my brother said, I'm going to go to Sundaram. So in Chennai, Sundaram is the place where bhajans happen, and that's where Swami stays when he comes to Chennai. So he said, I'm going to Sundaram because there is Nagar Sankirtan, which happens in the morning at 5 a.m. He said, I will finish Nagar Sankirtan and come. I will not stay any longer. You be with Amma. All you have to do is put your hand on her and be. Because she was not able to call us. If she moves, we will know. And then we would ask her, what do you want? So I said, okay, I will do it. Then he said, don't worry, she will be fine. She is sleeping. I will go and come. I said, okay. So he left. And what we do is usually we lock the door outside. It was a door where we physically put a lock. So my brother locked from inside, so he doesn't have to call me when he comes back to open the door. He can open it and come. So my brother goes for Nagar Sankirtan. He locks and goes from outside. I don't have the key. My mother at 5 a.m. says, I was putting my hand on her and I was lying down and she moved. I asked her, what? Amma, are you okay? Do you want water? She said, no. Swami is outside. Go open the door. By then, because she was deteriorating, we thought, human mind always makes you think like that. How many ever experiences Swami gives makes you still doubt. I just spoke to you before, right? He's omnipresent. And she told me he's there. And I said, Amma, go back to sleep. She told me in Tamil, Podi vandirkar, go, he is there. Very compassionate, even at that time, so much of love for Swami. I said, Amma, go back to sleep, because I could not access my brother. My brother goes for bhajan. He switches off his phone. So he had switched off his phone, and I couldn't access. I didn't know how to handle. Again, she's telling me, Vandir Kardi Swami, po. I said, Amma, go to sleep. Amma, Swami is in Puttaparthi. He's not here, Amma. Pintu means my brother. He has locked the door and gone. He is not there. Then my mother said, yellow robe potundrukar. Then she got very specific. He's wearing a yellow robe. Go and open the door. I said, Amma, go back to sleep. He said, Vandir Kardi, Tara. He has come, open the door. I said, Amma, go back to sleep. I regret it today. So, my brother comes back. He asked, is all okay? I told him, Ennada, Amma sollinde irundha Swami vandirkar. She kept saying, Swami has come, Swami has come. It's okay, Sujana. I think, she thinks of him all the time. Probably she felt that. Then we let it go. And then my father calls me after darshan. I didn't pick the call because he's angry with me, is what I thought. So I didn't pick the call. I didn't want to hear anything from him because I did not go see Swami. I told him, you pick the phone. So my brother picks the phone and my father says, how is Amma? Then my brother said, my Amma is fine, but she kept saying in the morning that, because we had to give him an exact report of how my mother was, because Swami would ask him. So we had to narrate everything, what all she did. So we had to say this, that she kept saying, Swami has come, Swami has come. Swami wore a yellow robe. Then my brother asked, Appa, what color robe did he wear today, Appa? He said, today Swami wore yellow robe. After many years, for Shivaratri, Swami wore yellow robe this morning. Then we thought, maybe he really came. He was there. We did not believe. I wish I had opened the door. He would have been there. I did not have that kind of conviction that he is outside. I was a human. I thought my mother had a brain surgery. She's not talking, very conscious. I guess we took it out of our own convenience, right? That is what I did at that time, and I thought, I missed Swami. I'm so sorry I did not come to see you. Neither did I open the door in my house. I didn't do either. I'm so sorry, Swami. I felt very bad. I came back to the US, and this is what Swami does. Nobody has called me to speak until then. It was the year 2008. So a center from California, they called me and said, come and share about Swami. He's doing so much for your family. You have to come and share. Then I thought, why is this new role for me? And I'm not a speaker. I don't speak. And I don't speak in front of crowd. The minute I see people, I tremble and I forget everything. So I said, I'm not going to speak. I told my husband, I'm not going to speak. I'll just say I don't want to speak. My husband said, think about it. Why do you say no? I said, I don't want to speak. But they put a lot of pressure. They said, you have to come and share. So much Swami is doing. Right? That word, so much Swami is doing. My father said, so much Swami is doing, why are you not going to Puttaparthi? Again, I come back and hear the same thing. So much Swami is doing. Am I not going to speak? But I still didn't want to speak, because when you don't feel like speaking, I feel it is not right to come and stand and speak about him. And I said, Swami, you have to will. You don't will, I'm not going to speak. First of all, I don't qualify to speak about you because I didn't come and see you in Puttaparthi. I don't qualify. I'm not speaking. I got very convinced with that answer. I didn't come and see you. I'm not speaking. I'm not going to say anything. So I'm not speaking, Swami. I made up my mind. My husband, before he went to work, gave me a lot of Swami's book. He said, you'll get inspired. Why don't you read? He speaks, he's a speaker, he talks about Swami. He said, you have to get inspired to speak about him. And he put those books and he left to work. And I see those books and I think to myself, what am I now going to do? Am I going to get inspired? He has done so much. I didn't get inspired. I'm going to read this book. Am I supposed to get inspired? And I'm not a reader. I don't read books. I cannot go from first page to last page. I said, okay, Swami, I'm opening a page. And I take that as your message. However, whatever you want to convey to me, convey to me. I close my book, just close my eyes, I open this page, and this is what I get. It is a letter written by Swami to a student whose mother was ill. And I open this book, and it is Prema Dhara is the book. I open the book and I read this. You are so sorry that your mother's illness prevents you from coming to me. Which translated to me as, my mother's illness stopped me from coming to Puttaparthi. Because I told him, I didn't come to see you, I'm not talking. Then he goes on, well, is it not service to your mother, your physical mother, service rendered to me, question mark. Then I thought, is he talking to me? Another story of omnipresence? I didn't know. Then I go on. The mother who is called Ai, Mai and Tai is no other than Sai. That is the message that I got for myself that day. And that was my first talk that I gave in 2008. And I shared my experiences with Swami, our family's experience with Swami. But when he thinks he has to reach you, he has to talk to you, and we go deep within, and when we speak, I felt at that time, Swami, you are truly there. Then I had nothing to say. All I had to do was prepare for the talk. I closed that book. I had tears in my eyes. I was waiting for my husband to come back from work to share this. I didn't have a fancy phone to take a picture. I wrote it down quickly because I tend to forget page numbers. I don't remember. And when he said this, every time I feel, and I don't forget to share this anywhere I get an opportunity to speak, I share this because this is very close to my heart. I felt, because I always tell Swami, you have to be precise, you have to be clear, you have to tell me exactly what I'm supposed to do. I will not take clues from you. I cannot understand clues. I tell to myself, I need clear instructions. Because my brother and my father are used to clues. I am not. That is how I talk to him, within myself. And this is what I got. And that day I decided, if somebody asks me, I have to share. I have to share, and I cannot say no. That is the message that I got from him. And another message is, you have to serve your mother. You have to serve your physical mother, father. It is very, very, very dear and important to Swami. Many instances, this is one another with clear words of what he wants us to do. And one last thing. So the faith in Swami, his omnipresence, and service to mother, it is very close to my heart. I remind myself many times. I remember these experiences, many more experiences, to feel close to him, because I do many times doubt, Swami, are you there? Do you hear what I say? And I remind myself with these experiences and hold on to him. Sai Ram.